Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to Tea Time with Ayek and our first real talk conversation of 2021. Today, I'm going to be talking to Vivi. She's a lifestyle, beauty, and fashion blogger and content creator, and the founder of a blog called Heart Print and Style. Today, we're talking about going against the grain and doing what's not necessarily expected of us as children of immigrants. Let's get right into it. Thank you so much, Vivi, for joining us today. I'm super excited to get into this conversation because I just know you have so much to share. I mean, even when you and I speak offline, the information, the encouragement, the tips, I'm like, wow. Vivi's honest. She's talking
You're
about it.
hyping me up just a tad, just a tad.
And of
Just a
course, you
tad.
know what you're talking about because you've been in the game for 10 years.
I have,
Um,
yeah.
so I want to hear a little bit about your journey. What made you start Heartprint Style?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on AYAC Tea Time. Hopefully, I spilled some tea, as you like
Oh,
to say. Hopefully, but no. But I got into the game 10 years ago, October. I actually forgot to celebrate it, oops, but I'll do something of some sort.
yeah.
But it was actually my sister. Uh, I I was blogging. I did more of personal blogging
Mm,
for a while.
mhm,
Um, yeah, that's what I was mostly doing, personal blogging and just being
right.
anonymous in that part of the world.
Mhm,
And it was my sister who got more into fashion blogging and stuff. That's when a lot of people started showing off their clothes and what they
uh-huh,
wore every day and
mhm,
stuff. And she was like, "Oh my God, Avi, see, oh my God, Avi, you should do this. And I don't see a lot of plus size people and blah, 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 blah."
mhm.
And then she got a hold, I think randomly she came upon Gabby Fresh's. Well, she used to go by Gabby Fresh, but
Yeah.
well, back in the day, she went by Young, Fat, and Fabulous.
Mhm.
And
I remember.
yeah, and she came upon her blog, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this girl! She's doing it. You could do it too." And I've always been into style. I've always been into fashion, but like to put myself out there in terms of people seeing my face, I'm like, I don't think that's my vibe right now. But
Uh-huh.
she persisted, persisted, persisted. And then, but she let it go when she realized that, okay, I'm not really going to go that route anytime soon.
Mhm,
And then I believe it was 2009,
mhm,
I was laid off.
mhm,
And then, so for those couple, it was like 2009 November. And
mhm,
so for those couple of months going in, leading up to 2010, I
mhm.
was, there was nothing much to do, but just cash the unemployment checks and just look for other jobs.
Yeah.
And so in between, I just started getting more into blogging and more into reading blogs. And then I found myself getting more into reading people's fashion blogs and style blogs. And then
Yeah.
finally, I was like, okay, I'm getting this urgency to do it. I'm getting
Mhm,
it, I'm getting it. And then finally, I just decided to use my personal blog and just started like dropping hints of like fashion, like,
mhm.
oh, this is what I wore, but not really showing my outfits, but just like, oh, fashion here, fashion there, just
Mhm.
just
Teaching.
yeah, just dropping it into posts here and there and then switching it up and going back to whatever I really do. And then finally I was just like, you know what, let me just do this. I really like the style blog. I really like what they're about and how they're doing it. And it's whatever. If people see my face, whatever. And so I created a whole new blog and that became Heart Print and Style.
Hmm. So, at that point, you had gone into it full time, technically, right?
Actually, that's actually a really great assessment. Technically, yeah. Yeah, because I was still looking for work at that time.
Mhm,
So, but it was very much more like, and it still is a hobby to me, honestly.
mhm,
So
mhm.
it was more of, sorry, I just keep adjusting my earrings. It
No.
was more of something to keep my mind off the fact that I'm not working.
So I want us to segue into how you came to terms with what you were doing as a blogger, because I would say you're more than, not even I would say, you are more than a blogger. You're a content creator, you're a content producer. So I'm going to push it and say you are a
Hmm.
plus size content creator. So
Okay.
how did you push that conversation or address that to your parents? Guys, for some background, Vivi is a Nigerian woman. She's an Igbo woman. And if you're familiar
Nigeria.
with
Hey.
Nigerians, if you're familiar, especially with Igbo people, we love our education, we love our degrees, we love to say, I got the doctorate, the MD, the RN, the everything. So,
Oh, the PhD, they love throwing that around.
yeah, we love our PhDs. Um, so, our culture has this very strict perception of what success is, right? So how did you
Mm-hmm.
explain to your parents what you do? Like if they were to ask or if they were mentioning it to anyone, how did that even go? And like based on what you told them
That's
and the reaction, did you ever question the decision to go into this field?
that's very interesting because one, when I started the blogging, again, it was just more of a hobby. It's just
Right.
something I did on the side. I wasn't thinking to be, no one, I'm pretty sure no one was thinking about, oh, I'm going to be a full-time blogger
Yeah.
and the money from it's going to get me a new car and a new house and propel my business and be, no one. So till this day, it's just a passion of mine. It's
Right.
something I enjoy. It's just a balance of my life,
Mhm.
or whatever. But funny enough, I've never flat out told my parents
Okay.
about my blog. They just kind of see around, like maybe they randomly see that I've taken photos
Uh-huh.
outside and they're like, what are you doing? I remember one time I was with my tripod and my dad was walking in with his friend, and then his friend was like, hey, oh, Abby, you didn't tell me you're a photographer. I was like, I'm not a photographer.
No.
And then my dad was, and my dad was like, no, she's always taking photos. And I said, oh, she's probably a photographer. I was like, no, it's very interesting. I never flat out told them that I'm a blogger. It was just more of they kind of picked it up that, okay, Abby likes fashion, Abby
Mhm.
likes style.
Mhm.
Um, Especially when I was unemployed, I was always going to DC for events and meeting up with people. And they're
Mhm.
like, this DC. My mom used to joke. She's like, every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Abby is always in DC for some fashion thing, that sort of thing. And I think for them, it
Mhm.
was just more of because I have a nine to five, they never really it never really clicked that this blogging was also making money for me.
Mhm.
Well, I just started making money from the blog 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or whatever.
Mhm.
But it just never clicked to them. It was just like, oh, she has a career, her job or whatever. That's more of their thing. But
Right.
I think it finally clicked to them
Mhm.
when I was asked by Eloquy to model some of their clothing on Fox 5
Mhm.
morning show.
Mhm.
Um, no, no, that's, no, sorry, backtrack. A year before that, Nadia at the time had a clothing collaboration with a plus size company in Canada. And
Mhm.
then I think she started doing like a nationwide tour of it. And
Mhm.
so she stopped in DC, and the company reached out to a couple of bloggers to model the clothing for a morning show.
Mhm.
So, I was like, oh, cool, my first TV appearance or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was just like, for my mom, I was like, oh, mom, dad, I'm going to be on TV if you want to watch. They're like, what for? And I was like, okay, how can I break this down to them so they understand? So I was like, well, a company reached out to me to wear their clothes on TV. So my mom was like, so you're modeling? I was like, not not really, but
Right.
and that's all that's what they understand. They see you on TV looking, wearing clothes and walking here and
Mhm.
walking there. They're like, you're modeling. So they just
Mhm.
ran with that
Mhm.
or whatever. And then the following year, where Eloquy reached out to me to do it again, then they were just dead on. They were like, oh, so you modeled for clothes? Oh, she was on TV. She modeled. I was like, fine, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. And then a couple years after that, when my mom found out that I was making money, I think when she realized um, that that I was being interviewed for like articles
Mhm.
and people want to doing panel discussions.
Mhm.
So she was like, so what is this website of yours? That's when she found it. And I'm like, oh, it's just like, it's just plus, me and my, I like style, I like fashion. I just talk about what I wear and
Uh-huh.
how I wear, and people respond to it or whatever. And she's like, okay, because I see you're always going here and there, and you're modeling. Or I'm like, I'm not a model, mom,
Yeah.
or whatever, things of that nature. So again, I guess also because I feel like it would have been more difficult if I was a full timer doing this.
Yeah.
Then it would be like, what? Like, huh? I think every single day they'll probably just be like, so Abby, what exactly do you do? You know what I mean? So for it to be just more of a hobby per se,
Mhm.
or whatever, it doesn't really, it's not really choking them to be like,
Mhm.
oh, what exactly does she, you get what I mean? Because
Mhm.
I have that 9 to 5 as
Right.
almost like a backup.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So they know what I do as a 9 to 5.
Of course.
So, and I guess it's also on me. I just never really flat out told them as that I'm a blogger
Hmm.
and this is my passion. It's like I kind of just did my own thing, and then they just picked it up from how I was doing it, and
Mm.
then they have their own versions, or their own, yeah, their own ideas of what I exactly
Perception.
do.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, with this, my mom calls it what did she say the other day? She called it a new a news website line or something. I was like, okay, no, or whatever. And
Momsky's
I think
like, yeah, the news channel online, something like
something online or whatever. And then my dad just more of like, I think he still thinks I'm a photographer.
that.
And so it's just, I just kind of let them figure out what they want to deem it. But again, I think that falls on me again, because it's just, it's not a full-time job.
Hmm.
It's not something I outwardly talk about with them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They just, I guess in their head, they think of it as like, oh, it's just something she enjoys to do. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
So they haven't really wanted to get an idea exactly of what it is that I do,
Hmm.
because it's not a full-time job.
Right.
It could be different if it was a full-time job. Then I could have had like a better idea of what they would think. But
Mhm.
because again, it's just a hobby of mine that I somehow made money from, then they're
Uh-huh.
just like, oh, okay, that's what she
Yeah.
does, sort of thing. Yeah,
Could it be also
yeah.
the fact, I mean, in terms of you not telling your parents, could it also be kind of like, because like this is my hobby, this is my thing to do to like wind down or like express myself creatively? Do you feel in a sense you're kind of like protective of it, like this is my thing? Could that
Yeah,
be
yeah.
partly why?
And I'm still protective of it. I'm very much still protective. After 10 years, I still am. Like, it's hard for me to even state that what I'm doing is a brand. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that means that puts too much focus on said brand. And
Mhm.
I still want to hold on to a piece of what I do, which is just my outlet. It's something I
Right.
enjoy to do. It's just something that just gives me life. It's just something
Mhm.
I enjoy. You know what I mean? And so to have too many eyes and people into it trying to figure out, okay, what does it do? Are you making some money from it? Nigerian people now. Is it a business? Are you making money from it? How's that? Are you still wearing clothes? That's one of my questions. So that's your site. Are you still wearing clothes? I'm like, okay, sure. Yes.
He
I'm
said,
still
sure.
wearing clothes.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing, and that's the thing. And I don't know why I keep fighting it, because if I've been in this game for 10 years, if I'm growing my Instagram
Mhm.
each day with more followers, if more brands are reaching out to me and finding me, and I've been very, very lucky that I haven't really pitched to brands. They've come to me, you know what I mean? So I've been lucky in that aspect as well. So, and I'm just like, okay, Abby, I think it's time to like call it call it for what it is. It's a brand. People are going to be interested in it. People want to know more of it. People, in their way, want to succeed in it. If their way of saying, "Oh, are you making money?" is them asking if it's successful, fine, or whatever. But a little part of me, well, a big part of me is just like,
Mhm.
it's still mine. I
Yeah.
want to keep it for me.
Hmm.
Get away from it.
Yeah.
Do not touch it. Leave me alone. It's just mine. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I do agree with your question of terms of like I was kind of like protecting it. I
Hmm.
just didn't want to hear any like sideways
Criticism.
comments,
Hmm.
criticism, comments, trying to like dismiss it or something, which Nigerians tend to do sometimes. Um,
Or tell
and
you how to
I
run
wasn't in
it.
the mood for it. So I was like, huh?
Or tell you how to run it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just more for a protection. Exactly. Tell me how to run it. Ask my opinions of it. Ask me, you know, why am I doing it? Oh, it's just, what is this? You know, that's what, especially 10 years ago. Now it's, you know, Nigeria, they're about money. So
Mm-hmm.
they were like, hey, so this person can make 100,000 a post or
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. You know how YouTube is like the money maker. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so I could just go and be on video and do this, that, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
make money. Okay, now, okay, okay, you know, that sort of thing. Back
Mm-hmm.
then, oh Jesus, why are you on the internet? Why? Oh, you just want attention. Oh, you know what I mean? So I just did. I wasn't in the mood for that. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of kept it to myself for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that you brought up the fact that like you're now coming to to terms with the fact that this is a brand and accepting it as a brand and kind of like pushing, not pushing it, but being open to more conversations around the brand. Is that something you would advise people who are entering this field? And I want to get specific with this particular question because we're speaking specifically to people in our
Okay.
demographic, Black plus size content creators, because you and I both know there's a need. There needs to be more
Okay.
visibility, inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
Would you advise that as well as other things for people fitting that demographic?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I feel like if you want to become a content creator, if
Mm-hmm.
you truly want to become one, you have to be passionate about what you are about to pretty much create, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Go into it for the wrong reasons of, oh, I just make, I can make quick cash. Well, that's, if you, you know, a little bit of luck does help as well. So if that first post of yours goes viral and you get the quick cash you want, cool beans. But now you're salivating for more cash. And now you got to realize, okay, that's where the work kicks in. Are you ready for that work? Are you ready to take a bulk of your day, your time, your week to putting your focus on creating content to put out there that you could be happy with and your audience could be happy with. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would suggest first, just know deep down, like, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is work. If it looks easy, realize that a lot of shit went behind it to
Mm-hmm.
make it look easy and to make it to look effortless. So
Mm-hmm.
don't like try to look deeper than what you see face value.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta look deeper into like, okay, what the amount of work that gets into it, the amount of time that's taken out of your day because of it. Then you have to focus on, okay, I do want to do it. It's a passion of mine. Okay, now what? How can I be myself without getting distracted with the comparisons
Mm-hmm.
and the you know and the yeah I was just saying you have to hone into you first because I get what you're trying to um get out that you know there's a need for us. I don't want to that I don't want to put that pressure on new content
Yeah.
creators.
Yeah.
Don't put that pressure into that first. That's huge. That's you know
Like
that's like you're just
responsibility.
jumping from okay that's supposed you know you're just jumping from okay I'm a content creator okay I have to be visible and make myself known and this and that and be part of the people and do no it's okay we get it but first you have to backtrack and it's levels to this it's steps to this
Mm-hmm.
before you get into that position of okay my face is out there my brand is out there I have an audience okay now how can I put make it more known that there should be more of us into this. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like don't jump into it just straight out the gate. That's pressure. Why you want to put that much pressure on yourself when
Whoa.
you're just getting started?
Whoa. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Don't do that. You have to, and then that becomes then it becomes more like, is that really a passion of yours now, or if it's is it more of just like putting the whole world against up on your shoulders to become this identity of, oh yes, I'm pushing this narrative forward, and you're just getting started. Like, no, find your passion first. Find that you really enjoy it. Find the joy and the fun and the love for it. Get into it, hone into it. Then as you're building yourself up and building your brand and yourself up, then you could find it like, okay, what's the next step for my brand?
Mm-hmm.
Where can I go about this? How can I be not so much a model, but I would say inspiration. How can I be inspiration to my fellow plus size women who want to get into this business? And then because of the experience you've had starting off, then you could share that vision with you and share it and expand it and then become a voice for people. But don't jump right out the gate to be that voice with nothing to back it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what would you say for someone who that's the reason for starting? Are you saying that they
Ooh.
should build up their platform before they start having those tough conversations? Because I mean, one thing that drives a lot of my content is I need people who look like me or look similar to me to see that there's representation. I don't got 1 million followers
Mm-hmm.
yet. I don't got 100,000 subscribers yet.
That's
So,
true.
so what do we now
That's
say
true.
about that? Do you say spread your wings a little bit? Do we say chill a little bit? I mean, what would you say to that?
That's a good point. That's true. That is true that some people have that fire burning up with them from the jump and they just want to get their voice out there.
Yes.
That's true. And I would say to them, if it's very genuine and it's not just so you could get out there just to get immediate followership immediate, but if it's a passion of yours and that rebelliousness is your passion, then go for it, because people would see it's genuine. And if that's the voice you want to be, yeah, more power to you. So yes, so for those who have that inner fire in them to be a voice of reason, to be I want to show people that you can be I don't want to I feel like confidence in plus size women, everyone is confident. I don't like that term of, oh, you're a plus size woman, you're confident
You're
for a plus.
confident.
No. But I'll just say, yeah, but I'll just say, just being you, being yourself. Yes, showing yourself, being you, being your authentic you, that would shine through any camera, through any social. People would be like, oh, I like her. I like what she represents. I like how she represents it. I could feel it. And they would gravitate towards it. So I say, just as long as it's authentic and it's genuine, people will feel it immediately.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Vivi, for having this conversation with us as usual. I knew I could trust you to spill the tea, and you definitely did.
Oh Lord.
As always, I'm taking mental notes. I'm like, okay, Vivi said do this. I'm like taking the mental notes, and I'm sure everyone that's watching this will. Guys, if you want to connect with Vivi, you want to get advice, you want to see her awesome content, I'm gonna link her blog, her Instagram, everything down below. And I'm pretty sure Vivi's gonna be joining us on this channel again. But yeah, guys, I will see you soon. Not next week, on Thursday. And yeah, bye. Okay.